Alright, so for this project, I'll be using a fingering weight yarn. It's called Lanalon. And if you don't have the same yarn, it's okay. Just use any fingering weight yarn. And then I'll be using a 2.0mm crochet hook. So if you're living in the Philippines, I will add the link of where I bought this materials mentioned in the video. And also you will need some flex frame. You can buy this online on Shopee. Now when you buy this one, it comes with a small lock, which is this one. So make sure that you have this small thing here and this one. And the size of this is about 8 centimeters or about 3 inches. So they come in different sizes. You can buy one that is longer than this, and I think this is the smallest one. And of course you're gonna need some pair of scissors and yarn needle for weaving in the ends. Here it is. So it's good to have different sizes of needles so that when you're going to use some fingering weight yarn, it will be easier to sew using the smaller needle. Okay, so the first step would be making a slip knot because we're going to be working in rows. And then after that, we're going to chain. Depending on the size that we want, because this is a small purse, what I'm going to do is I'm going to chain up, let me see, 5. So the first few chains will be where we're going to make the fold for. The first few folds will be for the flex frame so we can hide it. I think I'm gonna be chaining 10 for this. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I think you have to at least make a few allowance so that at the end of making this purse, you will have an allowance for folding in or tucking in this flex frame for later. And then for the bottom purse, I'm going to be chaining maybe 20 or 40 more. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I think I'm gonna need just 30 chains for the bottom, and then at the end I'm going to chain 10. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then I'm going to add one more chain for the turning chain. So I'm gonna work on the second chain from hook. That's where I will start working my first single crochet, and then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So the next 30 stitches would be done with half double crochet. So we're just going to work 1/2 double crochet in each of the next 30 chains. So that's gonna be 30 half double crochets, and then at the end we're gonna have 1 single crochet into each of the last 10 remaining stitches or chains. Alright, so the last remaining 10 chains we will work 1 single crochet into each of those. So this part is where we're going to do the fold to hide the flex frame later. So we're going to insert the flex frame, and you're going to see why we are working an extra 10 single crochets for later. Now the next row will be the same. So we're going to chain 1. This is the repeating row. So after chaining 1, we're going to turn, and then we're going to work 1 single crochet into each of the next 10 single crochets. So we now have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This is what's gonna happen later. We're gonna make a fold to hide it, and then the next 30 stitches we're gonna work into each back loop only. So work a half double crochet back loop only into each of the next 30 stitches. So we're doing this in order for the body of this purse to make it stiffer and thicker. This will make a textured bottom part of the coin purse. So this is what we will be doing until we get the length. So we will be repeating this row until maybe we reach the height of this flex frame. So we're going to follow the size of this one, and then of course when we get to the remaining 10 single crochet stitches, we're going to do the regular single crochet. Alright, so once we have 10 remaining stitches, we will now work a regular 1 single crochet into each stitch until the end of this row. So that's how easy it is. This is the repeating row. So this is really great for beginners, because after doing the second row, you will know, and it will be easier for you to just keep working repeating row 2 until you get the height of this flex frame. So I'll show you what's gonna happen after I finish repeating row 2. Alright, so this is what it looks like after you have worked or repeated row 2. So it should be at least the size of this flex frame, which is about 3 inches. And then we're going to make the fold later on. So it's gonna look like this. Now we're going to finish making the sides of this purse by working a circle. So once you get the height of this flex frame, we're going to cut off the yarn. So cut about 6 inches long for sewing later, and then we're going to prepare the sides. And so we're going to make a magic circle, and then we're going to chain 1 to bring up the yarn, Next is we're gonna go work 6 single crochets into the magic ring. 1 and 6. Then we're going to pull this yarn tail here, and then we're going to work in rounds. So we're not going to slip stitch, but we're going to continuously work a single crochet. Now, to start round 2, we're going to work 2 single crochets or an increase into each stitch. So there's 1, 2, and then we keep working 2 single crochets into each stitch. We should have 12 single crochets in total by the end of this round. There. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and 12. Now, when we get to the third round, we're going to work an increase into every second stitch. That means we work 2 single crochets into every second stitch of round 3 only. And we're increasing it by 6. So we started with 6 single crochets. The next one is plus 6, so we have 12 on round 2. On round 3, we're going to add 6 more. So 12 plus 6, that's going to be 18 single crochets in total. So you can skip adding a stitch marker, but if you're a beginner, you may add one so that you will know where to start the next round. So I'm just going to count 1 here, and then into the second stitch I'm gonna count 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and my last 2 stitches, 17, 18. On the third round, we added plus 6 stitches. That means the total number of single crochets should be 18. So now we're going to add 6 more on round 4. So that's going to be 18 plus 6 is equals to 24. And we're going to do an increase into every third stitch. So if you're kind of confused with working in spiral, then you can surely add a stitch marker to mark the first stitch. So usually when I'm lazy counting the number of stitches, I just add a stitch marker, and then on the third stitch I'll do my increase, and that's gonna be the sequence. So I will just repeat working 1, 2 individual single crochets in between increase or 2 single crochets. So this is a good practice, especially if you're planning to make an amigurumi. This is what you will be doing to make the body parts of a stuffed toy. So I've done some amigurumi before, but of course it's great if you crochet tightly when you're doing the amigurumi so that there won't be any filling peeping through. Yeah, but so I have the last sequence, which is 1 and then 1, and into the last stitch I should have my final increase. Alright, so now our round 4 is done. So we have 24 stitches in total, and then into the last round we're gonna add 6 more, so that means we should have a total of 60 single crochets for the final round. So 1, and then the increase will be into every 4th stitch. So 2, 3, and 4. So that's what you do when you want to make a circle. You just keep on working the increase into each round to make a flat circle. So if you are still a bit confused about how to make the flat circle, I will add on the screen the chart that you can follow along and you can practice doing this one. So in the next clip, I will show you what's going to happen next. Just keep working an increase into every 4th stitch, and then after you finish this one, we're going to make one more circle. So just keep on working that, and I'll show you what to do next. Okay, so once that is done, now you should have a total of 30 stitches around. Why 30? Because when we did this piece, there is a total of 30 stitches on this one, excluding the 10 stitches at the end and at the beginning. So we're going to insert this circle on the sides. So you may want to work the stitch on this side by simply, before you make one, you can just start working the stitch by joining them. So you can work a slip stitch around, or you can let's say I'm going to chain 1, and then I'm going to insert into the very first stitch. So you will know it's the first because this is where we started our first half double crochet. So you're gonna yarn over and go through that, and then into the same stitches where you chained 1, try to go into that first stitch, and then try to work a single crochet, and then into the next stitch, we're going to make sure to get to the next stitch and then work a single crochet. So we're simply attaching the circle to make the side of this purse. So if you plan to adjust the size of this coin purse, the total number of the stitches in between would be the number of stitches that you need for the final round to make the flat circle. So that's the formula for that. So whatever the number of stitches that you have on this side, it should be the same number as the circle that you're going to make on the final round. So just keep on attaching the circle this way by working a single crochet. And then I'm going to show you what it's going to look like after you have attached the circle. So it's going to be a bit difficult at first, but I'm sure you're gonna love this purse once it's done. This is what it looks like after you have finished working single crochets around and you form this side of this bag. And what I'm gonna do next, I'm gonna close off the round by slip stitching on top of this first stitch that we made. That's it. And then you're going to chain one and then cut off the yarn, and then you're going to do the same on the other side by making a circle first, and then we're going to join it by doing the same as what we did here on this side. So after I make another circle, I'm going to show you what it's going to look like after attaching the last piece. So after closing off the round, after attaching, you need to do a little sewing the sides just to secure it and make sure you don't leave any holes. So don't cut off the yarn yet, so just make sure to fold this one first. So we're gonna sew this part, this one, but before you do that, make sure that the flex frame will fit. We're going to insert it like this, make the fold so that you can hide this flex frame. There. And then we're going to sew this side using this needle, and you're going to use the long tail. Just keep doing that until until you get to the end. Alright, now I'm at the end of my stitches. I'm just going to secure this side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sew this part here. And then so after securing this one, I'm going to sew this part next. So since I still have a very long tail here, I can use this one to sew it. There. So I'm going to show you what's going to look like after I finished sewing this one. So there. Now you can just secure these two tails, and you can definitely tie them. Yes, to secure. And then of course we're going to close this off using pliers. So this is the flex frames lock, and you need pliers to finish the job. So you're going to put these two pieces together and add this one, and then you're going to flatten this to secure the flex frame. So you may want to bend it first, and then there. That's it. It's locked already. Then you can do that. So our purse is done. So if you want it bigger or longer, you can work a few more rows. Instead of 30, you can make it 40 instead. Or if you want it smaller like this, you can just do 30 stitches.